Good morning, welcome to GrainTV. It's October 23rd, 2012. To my left is Logan Burgess, and I'm Brock Shimbino. The grains are trading down across the board this morning. Macro markets are really weighing on the markets. Let's turn over to Fire Tip to see what's happening in Chicago. Old crop corn is down about 10.5. Beans are down about 12.5. Kansas City wheat and Chicago wheat both off about 15 this morning. Like I said, Logan, looks like the macro markets are really weighing on the grain complex.
Yep.
Not a whole lot of new fundamental news for the grains, so
Right.
we do turn our attention to the macro markets.
Yeah, certainly. You know, like it or not, this morning macro markets are really weighing on the grain markets and commodities in general. It's very hard to find a commodity trading not in the red right now this morning. Looking at Fire Tip. In the overnight session, we did have some news out of Spain regarding their yield on government debt. That continues to rise. They had a few regions in Spain downgraded to junk status. Obviously, concerns about the solvency of the Eurozone are a continuing problem here. If the Eurozone were to break up, that's very bad for the demand scenario. As a result, we see commodities trading down right now. That does come on the heels of some very disappointing third quarter earnings reported here from U.S. companies. Most recently, we had IBM, FedEx, and McDonald's all come in below trade expectations. So right now, there's a lot of pessimism in the outside markets right now. I think, unfortunately, right now, it's spilling over into the grains here today as well.
We see beans down about 12 cents this morning. We have had a couple of days of rallies. Do you think this is a slight dip in a longer-term uptrend, or what's your thoughts there?
You know, I think with the pace of export sales, the fundamentals in this bean market do remain strong. But with that said, I wouldn't necessarily want to be long bean futures right now. I think there's a lot of risk to the downside right now. We have this euro issue continuing to persist. We have U.S. elections here in 2 weeks, fiscal cliff coming down the line. Unfortunately, not a lot of fundamentals here until we know more about the South American crop. You know, if I was a producer, maybe sell in the cash market, pick up a call if you want to participate in the upside. But I think there is certainly risk to the downside right now. You know, one thing that's going to be kind of affecting the grains here more substantially on the fundamental side, though, is crop progress here as we wrap up domestically. Brock, I know you looked at that here this morning. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, we did get crop progress out yesterday afternoon. Corn came in a little bit lower than what analysts were expecting. Came in at 87% complete. Analysts were looking for about 89% complete.
Right.
Similar story for soybeans. A couple of percentages under what analysts were expecting. Came in at 80%. You know, on another note, winter wheat is actually 81% planted and emerged at about 49% so far in their growing season. You know, if we take a look at these charts that we've been looking at all season long, you can see the red line here is where we're at currently, about that 87% complete on corn. Where we were in the record year of 2010 was slightly below that, so we are still on a record pace, but we are starting to fall a little bit as we head towards the end of the harvest here for corn. If you take a look at some of the numbers, where some of these states are standing, Iowa is about 93%, Illinois about 92%. So some of the largest producing states are actually almost wrapped up with corn progress. A couple areas of concern are Michigan about 48% complete and Ohio about 50% complete. So those areas are lagging a little bit behind. They've been a little bit wetter this fall, but I don't think it's an area of concern right now. If we turn our attention to soybeans, we have fallen a little bit below the record pace of 2010. We're right about where we were last year at this time, about 80% complete. So we're moving right along in soybean harvest, and I think a lot of the attention for the soybean market is going to turn to those macro markets and the South American planting and their progress down there.
Yeah, certainly planting is well underway right now in South America. We've had good rains in Brazil, almost too much rains in Argentina, it sounds like is what's been going on here recently. Later this week, though, the people at the Buenos Aires Grain Exchange are going to be wrapping up a crop tour. We're very excited to bring comments direct from the field to you guys here on GrainTV. Should be coming down the line here Thursday or Friday of this week. You know, I think in terms of what we're kind of looking at for the rest of this week here, Brock, we are going to be getting EIA ethanol numbers out tomorrow about 9:30. Then on Thursday, we'll be getting the export sales report. So certainly two very important things to keep an eye on there from the demand side of the scenario. I think that wraps up our show here, though, for Tuesday morning. Thanks a lot for tuning in to GrainTV.